Okay, so today we're going to be looking at Here Comes Everybody by Clay Shirky. Specifically, Chapter 1, It Takes a Village to Find a Phone. So first we're going to look at the author himself, Clay Shirky. He currently teaches at New York University as a distinguished writer-in-residence and also an assistant art professor. Shirky, I believe, is currently leading expert in his field, which deals with technology and new media platforms, social media, and how they interact, or interact with community building, collaboration, organizations, and organizing, essentially. So now let's get into the actual chapter itself. So Shirky first presents you with this narrative. A woman named Ivana loses her cell phone in a taxi cab. She later finds out that another woman named Sasha has it in possession. For this to occur, several things had to happen. First, Ivana went to her phone provider and asked for a new sidekick cell phone with all the old information backed up. She did this because her stolen phone had a lot of important information regarding her upcoming wedding. After short use of their new phone, she realizes the identity of the woman who has her phone. This was revealed through new pictures of the assailant and her friends being taken, then transferred to the newly purchased sidekick. This happened because she asked for it to be backed up, so when Sasha started taking pictures on her old phone, those pictures were being transferred to the new phone, and that's how Ivana figured out who she was. So next, Ivana goes to her friend Evan for help. Evan has a lot of expertise in the internet and getting information out to the public. The first action he takes is creating a website called Stolen Sidekick. After just a few hours, his friends and friends of his friends share the link across the web. Later that same day, one of Evan's friends comes to him with the news of a discovered MySpace page. That page is Sasha's. Okay, so now that you guys have the general context of the first chapter, I want to get into what I'm going to teach you guys about today. So, to do this, I'm going to give you guys 3 quotes. The first one is this. I put it up on the page. It's, Evan posted an explicit request to the site. I asked that everyone, in bold, come back to visit the page for updates and make sure that the NYPD stay true to what they said. So this is interesting. Because the first time around with the NYPD, they file this. And the NYPD only lets them file it as a lost item because she left the cell phone in a taxi cab. What are you going to do, right? So now he first starts the page. He starts the page, and he has all these followers. And it kind of blows up in this massive story. And then he goes back to the NYPD and he says, "Look, this is a stolen item. We have evidence that this is a stolen item. This is your job. You guys need to figure this out." And the only reason why he's able to do this is because he has this massive following of people now. He has people watching the story. He has it publicized. So if we say, okay, we're being watched, we're going to have to handle this. So it's interesting to think about because if Evan never created this page, there's no incentive at all for the police to find a stolen or not even just a lost, misplaced, cheap sidekick cell phone. Like there's no incentive whatsoever. There's no justice to be had. But now that he has this massive following of people saying like, look, we're trying to catch these people just as much as you are, then the police are going to be held accountable. So Shirky really makes a point. The author really makes a point to say that because you have this media, because you have this technology with the internet, you're able to create a foundation that gives you legitimacy. And it gives you legitimacy to have control and power over something, or at least have someone get something done for you. And I think that's kind of the point he's getting at with this. So then, the next quote I want to look at, which kind of supports this, is quote on page, I believe it was page 9. It says, "The story ended up in more than 60 newspapers, in radio and TV stations, and more than 200 web blogs." So here you are again. You have Evan and you have Ivana, and they have literally just a misplaced, lost cell phone. They go to the police are like, okay, you lost a cell phone, congratulations. But then they're like, no, look, everybody's talking about this. This is a big story now. The public is watching you. We're going to say this is a stolen cell phone. We know it's stolen. We can see who has it. So now you have to figure this out, and you have to find them, because that's your job as law enforcement. So the interesting thing was that like such a, I guess I call it like an inconsequential story to everybody else's lives. Such an inconsequential story to everybody else's lives picks up so much attention just because of how the internet is so accessible. Because he was, in just one day, able to post this thing on the internet and get it shared through probably hundreds of people in the first day, let alone the million views that it eventually accumulated. So then, I have one more quote. So this quote kind of wraps up the whole idea of what I'm trying to get at here. It says, various local changes are manifestations of a single deep source. Newly capable groups are assembling, and they are working without the managerial imperative and outside the previous strictures that bound their effectiveness. So the managerial imperative, this is what I think it's referring to in terms of the context of the circumstances of this chapter, is that you lost this object, and what you do is you go to the police, you file a report for it, and the police deal with it for however long it takes, or if they just don't even deal with it at all, that's fine. But because they had the internet, because first of all, you had the sharing of information across 2 cell phones, which allowed her to see the face, and then the sharing information across the internet through a website, which allowed people on their own to look for themselves as their own detectives, their own prerogative almost, to look for themselves to see, maybe I know this person, maybe I can find them, and have someone actually find their MySpace profile and go on from there. So it allows you to completely bypass the whole idea of going through the system to find things. This is, or like, I guess the system for justice, because you have to go through the police. So you completely bypass the system, and you figure out your own way, basically. And then it says, managerial imperative, and outside the previous strictures that bound their effectiveness. So the reason why the going to the police is effective as it is because you have a government institution dealing with all this stuff, and it can only deal with so much things at one time. And when you give them something so nominal, so kind of inconsequential that, it's kind of victimless, inconsequential to everyone else around, everyone in the community, they're like, we'll take that somewhere else because it's a waste of our time. So really, I guess what the internet and what the media, the new media in this chapter allowed people to do was come together and kind of put their own prerogative onto someone else's. It's your own agenda. I'm saying, look, I have this thing that I need to get done. I need to figure out, but I need people's help. So I'm going to put this out on the internet. Whoever wants to help, please and thank you. And that, like, I kind of agree with this. Like, it all makes sense because you have Pinterest, or Pinterest is a good example because you have people saying that, like, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, and then people will pin stuff up and say, like, this is cool, that's cool, whatever. And you have self-help stuff, do-it-yourself, all that kind of stuff, all on the internet. And this is possible because you're able to just share your ideas, share your issues instantly, and people can essentially help what they want and take help when they need it. So to wrap the whole idea up with, like, what I'm trying to teach you from this chapter, or what Shirky's trying to teach us, what the author is trying to teach us, is that the collaboration, the collusion, or just like the organizing of people to get something done is completely simplified when you have such a simple thing such as the internet on a computer right in front of you. Because instead of having to call a meeting or send out flyers or do something actually physical, you can just type something in, put it into the internet, and then it's there for everybody else, and that's how they kind of figure it out. So yeah, the internet and the media that's been presented in this, like the website and the blogging, kind of, I guess, serves to show the newfound simplicity in coming together and collaborating. So yeah, thanks for watching.